Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Last 2 weeks ago, we had started discussing the kinds of police plans. So we have discussed policy and procedural plans, field procedure, headquarters procedure, special operations procedure. Same is true with standard operating procedure, regular operating programs, meeting usual needs, extra office plans, management plans, budget planning, accounting procedures, the specifications and purchasing procedures in relation to the duties and responsibilities of the logistics offices, and also the definition of personnel and organization. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be resuming our discussion on the other types of police plans. So we have here an implant. What is an implant or implementing plan? Included in implant are procedures or the duties of the dispatcher, jailer, matron, and other personnel concerned with which may be reflected in the duty manual. Procedures that involve coordinated action on activity of several offices, however, shall be established separately as in the case of using telephone for local or long-distance call and radio, teletype, and other similar devices. So in short, what now is the shortest definition for an implant or implementing plan? Implementing plan, ladies and gentlemen, are policies or guidelines used on how to implement a specific plan, project, or program. So this states how should an individual personnel, duty, or office perform their function in relation to a particular program, project, or activity. That's our implant. Next is OPLAN. It stands for an operational plan. Excuse me. Now, what's an OPLAN, by the way? If it's an operational plan, then where do we use OPLAN? From the word itself, operational plan, we use operational plan or OPLAN in the performance of our field duties. Okay, so that's your keyword, field duties. So in the PNP, we have the what we call the administrative function and the operational functions, right? So you know for a fact that the in the headquarters, the operational functions are mostly composed of the quad core. So who are those who belong to the quad core? In the regional office, we have the R2 or the RID or the Regional Intelligence Division. Diba? That's one. Aside from RID, we also have R2 or ROD, which stands for Regional Operations Division. And next is your R5 or RCAD or the Regional Community Affairs Development Division. And last but not the least is the R7 or the RIDMD, which stands for the Regional Investigation and Detective Management Division. So those are the quad core among the 10 divisions in the regional headquarters. So most of them, ladies and gentlemen, are field work. Thereby, whenever they have or they have to operationalize a project, a program, they do its O-plan prior the operation, of course. They have to do an operational plan in relation to their mission. So that's your O-plan. O-plan. In the National Administrative, in the National Support Unit, we also have the what we call uh, the NSU is divided into two, the National Administrative Support Unit and the National Operational Support Unit. So ladies and gentlemen, you know for a fact that the National Operational Support Unit are also field work offices, di ba? So thus, they also utilize O-plan. And whoever, which office formulates the plan, he gains the right to name that O-plan according to how they would like it to be named. Just like we have discussed before, di ba? The O-plan Jumbo, which was utilized by the Aviation Security Group, it was directed towards terrorist groups. Excuse me. Thus, Oplan Jumbo of the ABSEC group is directed against terrorists. To be specific, since they are the aviation group, possible acts of terrorists therein is the hijacking, di ba? So hijacking. It focuses on hijacking, the Oplan Jumbo. So next to Oplan is the SIP-plan. So case investigation plan. Now, when we say case investigation plan, we are dealing here with unsolved cases. Diba? If the local municipal police station, ladies and gentlemen, was not able to uh, file or was not able to identify the perpetrator or the perpetrators, they will not be able to file the case against the perpetrator, right? And within 6 months, and after 6 months of investigation, they failed to come out with the identification of the perpetrator and with the sensitivity or the seriousness of the offense. Let's say, for example, the offense committed is a heinous crime, murder, homicide, rape, and so on and so forth. Yes, and so on and so forth. The local municipal police station may may aid the help or the support from the higher headquarters. Diba? So they may create an SITG. So ano ba yung SITG? It stands for SITG, Special Investigation Task Group. Ayan. Now, so who now are the members of the SITG? So pwedeng yung investigator pa rin ng local police station na yon and with other members from the regional headquarters. So kung merong investigator from the provincial and regional headquarters, then they may all join force to solve the case, okay? So the purpose of the case investigation plan is to solve the case which was unsolved by the local by the local police unit, by the investigator of the local police unit, by the MPS. Yan. So, sir, can we also include other offices to be a member of the SITG in relation to a case investigation plan? Excuse me. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So long as their assistance or their expertise are required, then we can tap their services. So let's say, for example, the case is uh, murder. However, we were not able to identify the perpetrator, but we were able to identify, let's say, for example, the vehicle which they used to escape from the crime scene. So, yung ginamit nilang sasakyan. So, yun yung na-identify natin. Then, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, we will be needing the assistance of the anti-cybercrime unit. So, let's say, for example, we were able to have a CCTV footage which recorded the vehicle used by the perpetrators. However, the plate number is blurred. Medyo malabo. Same is true with the conduction sticker. Medyo malabo. So, in that case, we will be needing the assistance of the anti-cybercrime group for the purpose of making that conduction sticker or the plate number clear. So, we can identify the owner of that vehicle. So, we can proceed with investigation to determine who are the probable or possible suspect of the offense. Aside from that, we will also need the services of the Highway Patrol Group, di ba? HPG. Why? Because they also have database on the records of vehicles. So, meron din silang records niyan. Aside from that, we may also tap the service of the LTO on registration and vehicle verification, di ba? So, pwede rin yan. Aside from that, the forensics group also maintains records of results of the macro etching, di ba? Bago ma-register ang sasakyan, minamacro etch yung kanyang engine number, chassis number, di ba? So, yung mga yon. So, we may tap the services of those offices. How about, sir, if you would like to tap also the service of the National Bureau of Investigation? Yes, we may also do that. So, they may be also a member of the SITG. Yan. And they may also be part of the group to create this case investigation plan, to formulate and at the same time to implement the case investigation plan. So that's your SIP plan. Next on the list, ladies and gentlemen, we have here COMPLAN, so communication plan. In the Office of the Philippine National Police, what office usually utilizes COMPLAN or communication plan? Anong office sa tingin nyo? Sino ba ang office within the PNP na mahilig makipag-communicate? Excuse me. Sorry for that inconvenience. So it's the office of the PCR, or in the regional headquarters we call it the RCAD, or the Regional Community Affairs and Doctrine. Community mali tuloy. Regional Community Affairs Development Division. Yan, so RCAD. That's your RPCR, Regional Police Community Relations before. So what's in Complan? Ano ba yung meron sa Complan? So a Complan is a plan which is utilized or disseminated to other offices involved and also to the proper office concerned in relation to the implementation of a PCR activity on how the lower units would implement, let's say for example, an information drive to their specific locality. So, yan ang COMPLAN. Kumbaga, guide and policy rin siya in relation to the implementation of a PCR activity. So, anong PCR activity yan? Mostly information drive to let the public, to let the community or the society know about something. So, anong something yan? It may be about program, activity, or project of the PNP or joint project of the PNP with other government offices or local government units or the community itself. So yan, basta involved ang PCR activities, mostly on information dissemination. So it must be disseminated to all PNP personnel and at the same time, as much as possible, whenever needed, whenever applicable, it must be and shall be also relayed to the community. Yan ang COM plan, communication plan. Next to COM plan is the COP plan. So what is a COP plan? COP plan is a case operation plan. So what office usually formulates a case operation plan? Ladies and gentlemen, a case operation plan is usually formulated if in the regional office by the it is formulated by the office of the regional intelligence division or the R2. So ano bang case operation plan? Pwede rin ang R2, R7. Bakit ano bang case operation plan? It focuses, ladies and gentlemen, on surveillance and implementation of warrant of arrest. Kasi if the operation is more on implementation of a warrant of arrest for the arrest of a wanted person, may it be wanted person with or without reward, then it's a joint operation conducted by the investigation and by the intelligence division. Case operation, if the case operational plan is directed to a private person, a suspected private person, not yet a wanted person, then the case is surveillance, then it will be formulated, the COP plan will be formulated by the Regional Intelligence Division. Okay, so that's your case operation plan. So what's again the purpose of the case operational plan or the COP plan? It aims to gather information about a target person, so surveillance, target person, place, or event. Kaya, so yan, pasok dyan yung surveillance nyo, such as casing or tailing, shadowing or tailing, I mean, pagkatao ang subject nyo, casing or stakeout, pagka building or place ang target, and roping, pagka event or activity or program ang subject ng ating surveillance. Yan. Okay? So, in brief, implan is a plan which provides guides on how to implement a program, activity, or plan. So, implementing plan. Yan ang implan. O plan, ladies and gentlemen, again, serves to provide a direction on how operatives will do their functions in relation to a field function or field work. Yan ang plan. While case investigation plan is a plan formulated by the investigation division or investigation unit and members of the SITG. What is the SITG again? The Special Investigation Task Group. Yan. So, it's the SITG who does, or it's the SITG or the investigation unit who does this case investigation plan. And the case investigation case investigation plan's purpose is to solve a case. Okay, so that's your case investigation plan. So communication plan, ladies and gentlemen, is a com plan again with the objective of disseminating vital information to personnel and depende, if applicable, not only to personnel but also to the community. So that's your communication plan. While COP plan, case operation plan, is directed towards gathering of information about subject, may it be person, place, or an activity, or may it be a case operation plan for the arrest of a wanted person with or without reward. So, yan ang COP plan. What are the other advantages of doing a COP plan, by the way? We know for a fact that sometimes uh, field units lacks operational cost kung mga nagkukulang sa mga gagastusin sa operasyon, di ba? Why? Because they only base their operation on their MOOE. Why? Because without proper resources, our good plans or possible good but expensive plans may not be started or continued just because of the problem of lack of resources. Yan. So now, in this case, if we have a wanted person and the investigators are really willing to solve the case, to solve the case, C plan, or to willing to survey the suspect or arrest the wanted person in relation to co-plan, then they may do a plan, the C plan or co-plan, and at the same time, therein, they may also request the appropriate operational fund for the implementation of such plan, C plan, co-plan, or even O-plan, or even O-plan. C plan, co-plan, O-plan, pwede rin yan. Yung implant and the complan, not necessarily na gagastos tayo dyan kasi maraming means pwedeng isabay during PCR. So, hindi na kailangan masyado ng gastos dyan. Another types of plans are information operation plan. So, what is an information operation plan, by the way, ladies and gentlemen? When I say information operation plan, this is an operation conducted by the PNP to where or to whom? Usually to areas, far-flung areas. Yan. So what's the purpose of an information operation plan? The purpose of an information operation plan is to gain the confidence of the places residing in that rural area, in that flung, na far-flung area. Yan. Para hindi sila ma-recruit ng NPA, kumbaga. Diba? Kaya nga doon tayo natatalo, diba? Kasi mga NPA nakakapunta sila sa mga far-flung areas. Eh, sa far-flung areas, walang TV, walang communication, walang TV. So kapag ka ganun, people there are unaware kung sino ba talaga ang kalaban, sino ang kakampi. E kung napunta ang NPA doon, tapos nagsiwalat ng maling balita about the government, tapos i-recruit yung mga tao doon, eh malamang pwedeng ma-recruit nila in joining the New People's Army. So yan. So how will the PNP react? Excuse me. Or how should the PNP, ladies and gentlemen, uh, intervene in such tactics of the NPAs. So they should also go to the field and conduct information operation. So what's information operation? Its objective is to inform the residents or the locals in a far-flung area about the evils of communism. Baga, para hindi sila ma-recruit ng NPA, para hindi sila mawala sa landas. That's the main purpose of the information operation plan. Aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, information operation plan is also under the PCR operations, under the PCR type of operations. So they may also, part of the IO plan may also be tree planting, pwede yan. O kaya gifts giving kung meron man. O kaya distribution of donation kung meron man. And other PCR activity aside from the information drive. Next to IO plan, we have here the Local Anti-Criminality Action Plan or the LACAP. So what's this Local Anti-Criminality Action Plan? If the local have their own, if a certain locality, let's say for example, municipality, has their own specific type of crime, yan, then they, the local police therein, can formulate their own LACAP to intervene, to intercept, or to combat such crime. Yan ang LACAP, Local Anti-Criminality Action Plan. So let's say for example, in a certain locality, ang maraming kaso sa kanila is theft. So ang gagawin ng local municipal police station, gagawa siya ng kanyang anti-theft plan. So ganyan. Yan ang Local Anti-Criminality Action Plan. And depende if his plan, if the local municipal police station's plan requires assistance from the local government, then he may also coordinate such plan to the local government, especially those type of plans or programs that needs funds. Mostly, kailangan i-coordinate yan sa local government unit. If it was not funded by the PNP. Yan. So that's your LACAP. Next to LACAP, we have here the Annual Operational Plan and Budget. So ano bang EOPB? Annual Operational Plan and Budget. So in our EOPB is usually conducted once a year, pero pwede rin quarterly. So this is in relation to the request for a PNP unit's fund, operational fund, for the following year. So ano bang ginagawa dyan? Ilalagay lahat lahat ng PNP unit ang kanyang activities this year, tapos yung mga nagastos niya this year. Yun yung magiging basis for the costing of his budget for the next year, for the following year. Yan. Now, question. So, sir, pagka marami activity, marami rin ang budget na i-request. O naman, mostly pagka marami ka talagang operation, mas magastos ka talagang unit. So, pwede rin doon. Pero depende rin sa kung anong aprubahan ng higher headquarters na budget natin, edi pwedeng i-sacrifice natin yung mga other operations na hindi naman masyadong cost-effective. So that's our annual operational plan and budget AOPB. We also have here IA. Makatila muna ko. We also have here IA or the IACPS, CPSP, Integrated Area or Community Public safety plan. So this type of plan is directed towards the anti-criminality and public safety plan of the locality. Kumbaga, so yun lang yun. Anti-criminality. When you say anti-criminality, ang focus natin dyan, peace and order. Yan. So kumbaga, peace and order and public safety plan. So yan ang integrated area community public safety plan. Next is your patrol deployment plan. So it refers to the schedule and deployment of patrollers. Our subject, by the way, is police operations, police planning with crime mapping. Yun, yung sinasabi natin. Now, here in Police Regional Office, Cordillera, we have the what we call the best practice. Its name is the Web GIS BCA. Web GIS BCA, which stands for web-based. Yan yung WEB, web-based. GIS refers to the Geographic Information System, and BCA refers to the Based Crime Analysis. Yan. So, Web GIS BCA stands for Web-Based Geographic Information System, Based Crime Analysis. So, what can we observe in the Web GIS BCA? So, ano bang nakita natin sa Web GIS BCA? That Web GIS BCA, ladies and gentlemen, utilizes an online database, an online database where the encoders will be entering the data about a certain crime which transpired within their locality. So, ilalagay lang nila yung data doon. Crime, ilalagay nila yung longitude or latitude ng area kung saan nakumit yung crime. Yung oras kung kailan nakumit yung crime, yung panahon, yung gender, lahat ng profile ng victim, profile din ng suspect kung available. So lahat ng available information will be encoded by the encoder to the e-blatter system. And from the e-blatter system, data encoded from the e-blatter system will be read by the WebGIS BCA. So babasahin siya ng system ng WebGIS BCA, and after that, WebGIS BCA will plot in the online map the specific place where the crime was committed. So mayroon din siyang color code. Hindi ko lang maalala yung mga color code nila. So let's say for example, ang color code, red for all rape cases, green for all murder, mga ganyan. So meron din. Kaya makita natin sa isang locality, parang mas marami ang red dito sa area na to. Marami ang green, marami ang blue. Kunwari, mostly sa Central Business District, di ba? Sa CBD. Ano bang crime na marami dyan? Marami ang theft cases dyan pagka during peak hours. Bakit? Kasi siksikan. Marami ang pickpocket, nagdurukutan. Di ba? So, nakawan. Aside from that, sa CBD, marami rin ang inuman. So, pagka maraming inuman, ano ang kasunod? Dadami rin ang krimen. Bakit? Kasi pag may nalalasing, may mga tao nalalasing. Pag nalasing yan, iba-iba yung trip ng mga taong lasing kasi. May yung mga lasing na naghahanap ng away. Diba? Meron din yung lasing na naghahanap ng babae. Meron din yung lasing kung minsan, umiyak, okay lang yun. Umiiyak. Papadrama. Pero at least wala siyang krimen na ginagawa. Diba? Meron naman yung iba na nalalasing, na naglasing, wala palang pambayad. Magnanakaw. O kaya mag-initiate ng gulo. Diba? Physical injuries. Diba yan? So, kaya maraming physical injuries din Marami ring crime sa Central Business District. So that, in relation with that, ladies and gentlemen, pagka nakita na every 7 or every 9 p.m., let's say for example, dumarami yung krimen sa isang certain locality, then the supervisors of the PNP within the PNP unit can deploy the patrollers on that specific time kung kailan maraming krimen na nagaganap, di ba? So, 9 p.m. nagaganap yung krimen, the patrollers will be deployed 30 minutes before 9 p.m. at that specific locality to prevent the occurrence of the same incident. So, ganyan. In that manner, the police officers will be effective at crime prevention and at the same time, they will be efficient. Bakit? Kasi at least, hindi na sayang yung oras nila na 24 hours na nandoon, wala naman silang ginagawa kung minsan. Di ba? Hindi naman sila kailangan doon. So, ngayon, because of the web GIS BCA, we can know how and when to properly deploy patrollers. That's in relation to our patrol deployment plan. So, kung saan lugar na kailangan ng maraming patroller, di hugutin natin yung deploy natin sa iba na mga area na wala namang pinapatrolan, doon natin i-focus lahat sa kung saan man yung nangangailangan na yan. Next to patrol deployment plan is your camp defense plan. This is a tactical positioning and countermeasures of troops. So all camp military and police camp should have their camp defense plan. They should maintain it and update it regularly. Why? It is a means of protecting the camp from raiders para hindi tayo ma-raid ng NPA o ng criminal. That's the purpose of the camp defense plan. Next is the Peace and Order Public Safety Plans or the POPS plan. Now, POPS plan is a 3-year plan formulated by the local Peace and Order Council. So, it is being formulated by the local Peace and Order Council within 100 days from assumption of office of the newly elected local chief executive. So, kung bagong installed yung mayor, within 100 days ni mayor, merong POPS plan dapat yung Peace and Order Council. Now, sir, parang yung POPS plan yata is parang kung Peace and Order Council ang gumagawa ng planong yan, most often than not, it is a plan conducted or done by the communities, by the public. That's true. So, can we categorize it as a broad external policy plan? Pwede rin. Pwede rin because it's the public who did the plan for implementation of the PNP, or the police. While unlike the internal plans, it is purely formulated by the PNP. So, ano ba yung mga example dyan ng internal plan? Diba? Broad external policy bodies and internal policy makers. Sabi, yung PNP. So, ano ba example ng internal plans? So, yan, yung sinabi natin kanina, di ba? From the IM-plan, COP-plan, COM-plan, operational plan, pati information plan, yan. Oops, asa na yung mouse? Pati si operational plan. What happened? Pati si operational plan, C-plan, COM-plan, COP-plan, IO-plan, EOPB plan, LACAP, Patrol Deployment Plan, Camp Defense Plan. Those are all, ladies and gentlemen, those are all internal plans. So let's discuss Provincial Public Safety Plan. It is a consolidated, integrated anti-criminality No, no, no. It is consolidated integrated area community public safety plan pala. Yan. So consolidated integrated area community public safety plan of cities or municipalities within a province. So it follows that it is being maintained by the provincial government. Yan. So maintained by the provincial government. So your IACP SP is maintained at the municipal or city level, while your provincial public safety plan is maintained at the provincial government. So it is a consolidation of all the IA, Integrated Area, Community Public Safety Plan of all the cities or municipalities within a certain province. Kaya siya sinabing Provincial Public Safety Plan. So we have already discussed before strategic plan, or plan, tactical plans. Now let's move on with the steps in law enforcement operational planning. So we have here the first step. We have to frame. Yan, so frame of reference. So this refers or this shall be based on a careful view of the matters relating to the situation for which plans are being developed, opinions or ideas of persons who may speak with authority of the subjects and views of the police commanders, other government officials, and other professionals shall be considered. So this is our O-plan, di ba? Steps in creating a law enforcement O-plan, sabi niya. O-plan is quite similar with the memo type. However, uh, it differs in purpose lang. In purpose. Yung memo type kasi too broad, pwedeng yan lang. Letter lang. Di ba? While in your O-plan, it is a memo type but its focus is towards the attainment of an objective, operational objective. Yun lang. So, frame of references, we may include here as part of the reference, laws. So, pwede yan. Laws to be implemented during the conduct of the operation. Pwede yan. Pwede natin gawing reference yan. O kaya internal policy. Pwede rin yan. Pwede rin ang verbal instruction of the persons in authority. So, pwedeng president yan. Pwedeng chief PNP. Yan. Aside from those, any memo requiring or mandating the conduct of an operation. So, we shall all include them or those as part of our references. So, if we will be utilizing a map in our O-plan, then we can also do that. We can add that map as a reference. Next to framing the reference is the clarifying of the problems. So, para lang tayong researcher dito, nagtitesis. So, background of the study, kumbaga sa thesis. This calls for the identification of the problems. So, what are the problems in the certain locality? Understanding both its records and its possible solution. So, ano ko yung mga possible solution? Bakit? Kasi isa sa mga possible solution na to ang ating gagawin. In relation to the problem, a situation must exist for which something must be or something must and can be done. Okay? So, this is our current situation. That's the problem. What should we do to solve that problem? If we cannot solve the problem, what should we do to minimize its damage or to or to prevent the recurrence of the same? Next, for example, an area in a city or municipality is victimized by a series of robbers. There is a need for reaching the preliminary decision that the robbers may be reduced in the area. So, dapat mabawasan daw yung mga magnanakaw, robbers. Thief kasi yung magnanakaw eh. So, robbers, mga magnanakaw. And that the pattern of operation in general is one by which the police can reduce them. So, that's the clarifying of problem. So, how can we reduce the number of robbers? What are the possible programs that the PNP have to implement that can contribute to the reduction of the number of robbers? So that's part of the clarifying the problems. Next is the collecting of all pertinent facts. So parang research talaga to. Gathering of information. Diba? Collecting all pertinent facts. No attempt shall be made to develop a plan until all facts relating to it have been carefully reviewed to determine the modus operandi. Yan. So, dapat makilala natin. Malaman natin yung modus operandi ng mga suspect. The identity of the suspects. Types of victims. May they be young, old, women, businessmen. So, the profile. We have to profile the victims to determine the types of victims. In such other information as may be necessary. Facts relating to such matters as availability, deployment, and the use of present personnel shall be gathered. So, all available information about the case and about the operation shall be collected. Next is the developing of facts. After all data have been gathered, a careful analysis and evaluation shall be made. This provides the basis from which a plan or plans are evolved. Only such facts as any have relevance shall be considered. So, means to say, after we have collected all information, yan, then we will process those information. So, how will we process? So, we will be removing those information that are not in any way related with the operation. Diba? So, in relation to relevancy, walang kakone-connection sa ating operasyon. So, tanggalin na lang natin nun. Aside from that, we will also remove unvalidated information. Just like in your intelligence, diba? In the intelligence, we have what we call intelligence cycle. And part of the intelligence cycle is the evaluation, to which we will determine the pertinence of the information, the relevancy of the information, in the accuracy of the information. We can determine if an information is accurate if there are offices who also confirms that information, di ba? Kaya nga sinabi, A1. Ano ba yung A1? Completely true and confirmed by other sources. Kumbaga, yan ang A1. Ngayon, kung ang information na nag-gather natin ay F6, ano ba yung F6? CPPD, truthfulness cannot be judged. Tapos yung 6, hindi, Kufnor. Reliability cannot be judged. So, yan. Pagka yun, F6, may say, huwag na nating isama yan sa ating pagplaplano. Because that information will also, or may lead to the failure of the information, di ba? Kaya kung magpaplano tayo, dapat yung mga accurate lang, yung relevant lang ang mga basihan natin. Yung pertinent, yung talagang nakakatulong sa operation. That's the developing the facts. Okay. Next step, the developing alternative plans. So, the development of alternative plans. After we have developed the facts of the plan, of course, we shall be flexible. Now, how do we become flexible? Again, we should have alternatives. So what are these alternatives? Options that we can take in case our original plan fails or in case one of our objective in that certain plan was not met. Oh, so at least meron tayong alternative. That's the development of alternative plans. Next to development of alternative plans, we also have to select the most appropriate alternative. So we have to select the most appropriate alternative. A careful consideration of all facts usually leads to the selection of the best alternative proposal. So we have to carefully consider all available facts, and from that facts, from the analysis of that available facts, then we can come up with the best alternative that we can use or before we use, we can propose. Next to the selection of alternative is the selling the plans. Now, how do you sell the plan? Di ba? Paano mo ibenta yung plan? A plan to be effectively carried out must be accepted by the persons concerned at the appropriate level of plan's development. So we should sell the plan to all the key personnel who has function or role in that given plan. Those personnel who has task or participation in that plan. That's selling plans. For example, in a robbery case, the patrol division head may be preparing the plan. At the outset, the detective chief is concerned and shall be consulted. So, dapat magtanong kay detective chief. As the planning develops, there may be a need to involve the head of the personnel, records, and communication units, and all patrol officers. Yan. So that's how we sell the plan. As much as possible, we shall inform all possible members that can co-participate in the implementation of such plan. Kaya nga sabi natin, useless ang plano natin pagka wala tayong implementers. Now mayroon tayong implementers. Useless pa rin ang plano natin pagka yung plano natin ay hindi rin nako-cooperate at na-coordinate ng maayos saan? Kanino? Sa participants, di ba? So, the plan should be coordinated properly with all or to all of the participants. Next is the arranging for the execution of plan. The execution of plan requires the issuance of orders and directives to units and personnel concerned, the establishment of a schedule kung kailan gagawin, and the provision of manpower and the equipment for carrying out the plan. Now, kung ilan ang personnel, kung sino-sino sila, at kung kailan dapat may travel order sila, kung kailan gagawin yung operation. And at the same time, kung anong mga logistical equipment ang kailangan, mostly yung mga sasakyan to transport the participant in the place of operation. Yung mga kakainin nila, yung mga equipment, mga weapon na kailangan nila, diba? Should also be provided for. Briefing shall be held and assurance shall be received that all involved personnel understood when, how, and what is to be done. So, that's part of briefing. When should we move? When should we do this? When should we do that? How should you perform your task? And what is to be done in relation to our vision or objective? That's how we arrange for the execution of an plan, operational plan. Next to the arrangement for the execution of plan is the evaluation of the effectiveness of the plan. After we have executed the plan, we shall also assess its effectiveness. We shall determine if the plan is effective or not. If it had not been effective, then let's analyze what went wrong and improve the plan. Well, if the plan was effective, then we have to determine the key success factor kung bakit siya naging effective, and we may also adapt such plan for the following operation. So, pwede natin i-maintain yung plano and improve kung kailangan. I-upgrade kung kailangan. Diba? O kaya pwede rin natin ibato sa other unit na kailangan ng plano. So, pwede natin ituro sa kanila. This is how you should do this because we already have experienced such scenario before and this is how we did it. It resulted in a very effective manner. Naging epektibo kami dahil sa implementation plan namin. Dahil sa operational plan namin. Ito yung content ng plan namin, di ba? So that's the evaluation of the effectiveness of the plan. We have to evaluate if the plan is effective or not. Now, what's the purpose? For us to determine whether or not we shall maintain the plan or we shall upgrade or revise some aspect or portion of the plan. Now, how operational plans are executed in the PNP. So the plans are made, same shall be put into operation, and the result thereof evaluated accordingly. Okay, so the results are evaluated accordingly. Operations in the PNP shall be directed by the police commander to attain the following objectives. So these are the objectives of plans. Okay, first on the list, protection of persons and property. Whenever there's a police operation, we shall always protect persons and property. Second is the preservation of peace and order. We shall always preserve peace and order. And next is the prevention of crimes. We shall prevent crimes. The repression or suppression of criminal activities. We shall lessen the gravity or the number of criminality. And the apprehension of criminals. So we shall also apprehend or arrest criminals. And enforcement of laws and ordinances and regulations of conduct. Now, what again is the difference between law and ordinances? So, law this talks about the national law, diba? Our state laws, our RPC and special laws, our constitutional law, diba? Now, how about ordinances? These are law within the municipality or city, municipal ordinance or city ordinance, which is applicable to one city or one municipality, but may not be applicable to another city. So one example again here is the municipal ordinance in Abra. In Abra, they have their municipal ordinance therein prohibiting the usage of helmet for local travel of riders therein. So bawal ang mag-helmet doon na nagmumotor. Pero here in the Baguio, in Baguio City, the use of helmet for riders is mandatory, di ba? So magkasalungat. Sa Baguio, kailangan bago lumabas ang isang rider dapat nakasuot siya ng helmet. Pero sa Abra, pinagbabawalan ng government. Now, what is the difference? What are the reason behind? Because in Abra, there is the prominence of the gun for hire. And it is very difficult to identify the perpetrator even if the perpetrators were caught by a CCTV footage, they cannot be identified. Why? Because they have their helmet on. They also have borloloys on their faces, di ba? Meron sila mga panyo, meron naka-shades pa, meron pang nakasombrero. Eh talagang mahirap ma-identify yung perpetrator. Kaya pinagbabawalan sa Abra. For take note, ladies and gentlemen, that's for local travels only. So if a rider in Abra is traveling within Abra, so he must not wear helmet. But if this person is traveling from Abra to other region, kailangan niya magsuot ng helmet. Bakit? Because in other place, in other region, in other municipality, in that other region, they require or they mandate the usage of helmet. Yan. And, bakit to? 6. Tapos, 7 dapat to. From execution of criminal writs and processes of court. So we have to observe, okay, the writs, criminal writs, and coordination and cooperation with the other law enforcement agencies. By the way, why do we have to observe the criminal writs? For us not to be countercharged. Okay? Ano ba yan? The right of the accused for speedy trial, speedy disposition of his cases. So, dapat na-observe din ng police. So, kung kailangan i-file na yung kaso ngayon, i-file na niya kagad. Otherwise, if we are implementing the delaying tactics, hindi pwede tayong mareklamo dyan, di ba? Violation of the rights of the accused for speedy trial. So, yun yung binayolate natin. Kung nag-delaying tactics ang PNP. We have here prevention of crimes. This activity requires the members of the PNP to mingle with the members of the community where criminal activities originate and bred and criminalistic tendencies of individuals are motivated to indulge in anti-social behavior and seek to minimize the causes of crime. This activity or mission also requires the individual members of the PNP to understand the people in the environment in which they live. So that's your crime prevention or prevention of crimes. So the police shall mingle with the community. The police shall exchange information with the community. The police shall ask about identities of new residents in that locality or identities of possible law violators in the locality. And the most or the prominent crime in that certain locality. So, kailangan din alamin ng mga patrollers yan. And the possible routes of the criminal doers para madaling mahuli next time. Dapat alam din natin kung saan sila tumatakbo, saan ang base nila, saan ang quota nila, saan yung escape route nila. So, dapat alam natin. Kasi alam mo yun, yung nagdukot, tapos tumakbo lang ng 1 kilometro, biglang ninja nawala. So, may pinasukang iskinita. So, dapat alam din natin yung mga iskinita, mga shortcut nila. For us to be able to apprehend them in cases that we were not able to prevent their crimes. Next to prevention of crime is also repression or suppression of the criminal activities. If we were not able to prevent the crime, at least man lang, we should be able to reduce the number of that crime. We have to suppress that number of that crime. So let's say, for example, the crime of theft last month was 50. Dapat ang target natin for this month, dapat mabawasan yung 50 na yon. Hindi dapat mas lumala. Yan ang ibig sabihin. Next is the preservation of peace and order. This activity or mission requires the individual members of the PNP to gain the simpatya of the community to close ranks in combating crimes and any other antisocial behavior of the non-conformists of the law and order. The community, therefore, should be informed through proper education of their share and involvement in law enforcement and public safety. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I say again, public safety is not the sole is not a sole function and duty and responsibility of the police alone. It should be a joint, okay? It should be a joint role function of the community. Thereby, the community and the public, the community and the police shall work hand in hand to preserve peace and order. So, the community can give vital information about possible suspects, their whereabouts, kung saan tumakbo, and at the same time, this community, if they happen to be witness of a certain crime, they shall, ladies and gentlemen, they shall participate in the criminal justice system. So they should testify in court in relation to what they have witnessed. Otherwise, later on, kung di sila nakipagtulungan, we can't say, but probably, pagdadasal na lang natin na sana hindi sila mabiktima. Protection of lives and properties, the responsibility of the members of the PNP in providing for the safety and convenience of the public are analogous with those of the doctor. So ano ba yung motto ng police? To serve and protect. Okay? Para magserbisyo at para magprotekta. That's the protection of lives. We have here enforcement of laws and ordinances. These activities and mission requires the member of the PNP to constructively integrate or enforce and implement the laws of the land and city or municipal ordinances without regard to the personal circumstances of the individual citizen. So in short, ladies and gentlemen, dapat walang kinikilingan, walang pinapanigan ang mga law enforcers during the law enforcement operation. So mayaman yan, mahirap, may kaya, wala, magsasaka, may business, government or public official, they are all human. So if any of them violated the law, then they should be held accountable for their act. Mapasino man sila. Even relative, of course. Even relative. Kadugo mo man o hindi, pag gumawa ng krimen, dapat hulihin. Apprehension of criminals. This activity defines specifically the power of the police as posed by every member of the integrated police as means to discourage the would-be offender. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are the purposes of apprehension of criminals? Pagka nanghuli tayo ng criminal, first is its effect to the criminal. So, ano ba yung effect niya sa criminal? Hindi ko na ulitin, di ba? Mahuli pala ako, di ba? So, anong tawag doon? Aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, we are protecting the community. Kasi kung hindi natin hinuli yung criminal, then he can victimize further. Diba? So, pwedeng marami pa siyang mabiktima. That's one of the benefit of apprehension of criminals. Aside from that, it also, ladies and gentlemen, it also discourages would-be offender. It deters, di ba? It deters the public. When we say kasi yung yung perpetrator, sabi niya sa sarili niya, ay, nahuli ako, hindi ko na ulitin. Specific deterrent ang naging effect ng paghuli sa kanya, di ba? Specific. Pero pagka yung public ang sabi, ay, nahuli si Pedro. Nagnakaw, nahuli. Ayokong magnakaw rin. Ayokong magayaw kay Pedro. So, that now, ladies and gentlemen, is a general deterrent, di ba? It serves as a general deterrent. And it works to deter the public from doing what Pedro, the criminal, had done. So that's the benefits of arresting criminals. We have here coordination and cooperation with other agencies. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, especially if the operation of the pursuing unit involves adjacent territory, not their own area of responsibility, they have to coordinate the operation to that specific area, aerial police, who owns the AOR. Di ba? So kung kaninong teritoryo yung lugar na yon, dapat mag-coordinate yung pursuing unit doon sa unit kung saan nila gagawin yung operasyon na hindi naman nila area yon, di ba? Aside from that, there are also joint operation or possible joint operations or possible linking of two officers or more. Then all of the members or all of the units who has a participation in that plan must be coordinated well. Why? Because plan must be accomplished as is, as perfect as it could be for it to be successful. Ganyan kasi ang plano. Pagka isang pagkakamali lang sa plano, pwedeng yung isang pagkakamali lang sa plano, isang unit lang nagkamali sa kanyang function, hindi niya na-deliver yung kanyang function, hindi niya nagampanan, hindi niya na-accomplish yung task na nabigay sa kanya in relation to an off-plan, it can contribute, it can lead immediately, what? To the failure of the plan. Ganyan katindi. Kaya dapat, as much as possible, all of the participants in the plan must aim to accomplish their own missions, goals, or roles in relation to that plan. Kumbaga parang in a criminal case lang yan eh. Bakit? What we have in criminal case? The quantum of evidence in criminal case, ladies and gentlemen, is proof beyond reasonable doubt. So walang kaduda-duda na may krimeng nagawa at yung akusado ay wala rin kaduda-duda na siya nga yung gumawa, yung may akda ng krimen, di ba? So, dapat yun ang mapatunayan natin sa krimen. And, let's say for example, in one stage of the trial, the defense was able to create a doubt. So, yung defense, naka-create siya ng doubt. Paanong doubt? So, parang yung example natin nun, sabi ng defense, Mr. Witness, is this a firearm you seized from the accused? Yes, Your Honor. Why did you say so? Because I placed my initials. My initials is PP. Because my name is Pedro Pinduco. It is engraved in the parts of the firearm as follows. In the slide, on the frame, and on the barrel. Tapos tinignan ng defense. I see no letters PP here. But what I see is letters TT. Diba? So, it created already a doubt in relation to what? In relation to the credibility of the evidence. Sira na yung credibility ng evidence. So, malamang may sumabotahe, may nagpalit ng ebidensya, may sumira ng ebidensya. Now, you know what happened to that case if once a doubt is created? Kahit isang doubt lang ang makreate in relation to a criminal case, we will not be able to prove beyond reasonable doubt the guilt of the accused. So, isang pagkakamali lang, pwedeng it will lead to the acquittal of the accused or to the dismissal of the case. Parang ganyan din ang plano. Dapat as much as possible, perfect in all stages. All participants must accomplish their specific roles, functions, and objectives or goals. Thus, they shall be coordinated with and they shall cooperate accordingly. Safeguard public health and morals. This involves many activities or missions peripheral to basic law enforcement and public safety, such as, for instance, sanitation, search and rescue operations, licensing, inspection of buildings, in order to determine whether or not the presidential decree on fire prevention is strictly obeyed. This also includes supervising elections, escort duties, civic actions, and many other activities or missions related to law enforcement and public safety. So if you come to think of it, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about safeguard, public health, and morals, it's more on not necessarily crime. It does not necessarily talk about peace and order, but it's more on public health and public morals. Also, public safety rin. Bakit? Kasi pagka healthy tayo, safe tayo, di ba? Pero pagka may isang unhealthy, paano nagka-unhealthy? Ay, nag-positive sa COVID. Ay, nako, delikado yan. Kung lahat ng nakausap niya in public, pwede rin mahawa, di ba? By the way, in relation to the police operational plan, our topic a while back, ito, I already forwarded to you sample of an o plan before. If you can remember, hindi, ito, you can remember, ba? You, I even also required you to do a sample of an o plan. Hindi, wala. Parts of an o plan pala yun. Parts of an o plan pala yun. So, pareho rin. In doing the o plan, we also have to observe this. Time check. It's already, ano ba? 4:59. So we have here police field operations. How planning affects them. Field operations shall be directed by the police commander and the subordinate commanders, and the same shall be aimed at the accomplishment of the following primary tasks more effectively and more economically. When we say more economically, mas efficient dapat, kumbaga, mas mura pero mas malaki ang effect. Pwede niyan. Mas nakatulong sa economy. So, first is patrol. The patrol force shall accomplish the primary responsibility of safeguarding the community through the protection of persons and property, the preservation of peace, the prevention of crime, the suppression of criminal activities, the apprehension of criminals, the enforcement of laws and ordinances and regulations of conduct, and performance of the necessary services and inspections. So those are all the activities, objectives during patrol. It is focused on public safety, crime prevention. It is focused on basically on crime prevention, public safety, and apprehension of perpetrators. So in brief, that's the objective of patrol. Next to patrol, ladies and gentlemen, is investigation. The basic purpose of the investigation division unit shall be to investigate certain designated crimes and clear them by the recovery of stolen property and the arrest and conviction of perpetrators. That's part of the investigation, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. It's not, it does not end only upon filing of the case. Why? Because investigators, patrollers, crime lab, forensics group shall also testify in court in relation to these cases filed against criminal. Why? Because if a certain police officer failed to perform his functions as a witness in relation to a crime, we know for a fact that it may lead to the dismissal of the case against the accused or to his acquittal. And worst scenario that may happen to the police officer is he may be administratively held and criminally uh, charged in relation to the non-performance of his function, di ba? So pagka hindi siya nag-testify as evidence in court, as a witness in court, anong kaso? Anong kaso pag hindi nag-participate? Obstruction of justice. Ano naman ang admin case pagka hindi nagtrabaho ay hindi nag-testify in court? Non-feasance, di ba? Non-performance of duty. And the worst penalty for admin case is dismissal from service. And you know for a fact that if a police officer faced an admin case, wala siyang bonus, di ba? Eh kung na-dismiss ka, wala ka ding retirement benefit. Wala kang bonus, wala kang separation pay. Wala kang benefits, wala kang privileges na matatanggap. Unlike your criminal case, ang penalty naman sa criminal case, walang death, So, life imprisonment is the capital punishment, followed by reclusion perpetua with 2 to 40 years of imprisonment, and so on and so forth. So, next to investigation is the traffic patrol. Police control of streets or highways, vehicles, and people shall facilitate the safe and rapid movement of vehicles and pedestrians. To this end, the inconvenience, dangers, and economic losses that arise from this movement, congestion, yan yung traffic congestion, delays, stopping, and parking of vehicles must be lessened. So, control of traffic shall be accomplished in the following three ways. By the way, in relation to traffic patrol nga pala, ladies and gentlemen, mali yung term na ginagamit natin na pagka bumper to bumper, yung mga sasakyan, hindi umuusad, ay heavy traffic. Heavy traffic ang tawag natin. The appropriate term should be, ano yun? Traffic congestion, di ba? So, there's a heavy traffic congestion in this area. So, dapat hindi siya traffic. Because traffic refers to movement. So, movement of people, vehicle, or animal in relation to traffic patrol, movement of vehicle, people, or animal on the road. Yan. So, yun ang traffic. Hindi dapat natin ginagamit sa, heavy traffic. That's supposed to be traffic congestion. So, these are the three ways of controlling traffic. First, traffic or the movement of vehicle, humans, and animals. Causes of accidents and congestions shall be discovered. So, kung ano man yung mga causes ng accident based on history before, kung saang part ng kalsada, mostly kurbahan ba yan, mostly rough road ba o concrete. Diba? Mostly ng mga accident ngayon nangyayari sa mga concrete. Mas okay pa noon na puro rough road yung kalsada, dahan-dahan yung mga sasakyan, kukunti yung aksidente. Ngayon, sementado na yung kalsada, mabibilis na magpatakbo yung mga riders. Mas dumami yung number ng accident, di ba? So, those are the possible causes of accident. Ano ba yung mga possible causes of accident? Sharp curve, concrete na kalsada compared to rough road. Mas okay pa yung rough road, dahan-dahan pa yung mga sasakyan. Aside from that, what else? Road without traffic signs. Road without boundary marks. Ano ba the boundary marks? Yan yung sinasabi nyong yellow or white line in the center, di ba? Segregating the lane for one vehicle from another. Segregating the incoming from the upcoming. Ano pa ba? The condition of the road. Kung madulas ba, maputik. The weather condition. Pag maulan, mabasang kalsada, madulas. Disadvantageous sa mga nagmumotor. Pagka maulan, foggy, medyo foggy, it has an effect on the vision of the driver. So, dapat mag-slow down din ang driver. So, those should be considered to prevent accidents and congestions. Next is causes shall be remedied. So, kung ano man yung mga causes ng accident and causes ng traffic congestion, dapat may remedyo. It shall be solved. Charges shall be made in physical condition that create hazards. So, pagka mayroong nag-violate ng traffic violation, mostly tinitikitan, di ba? Pag may taong hindi nagsuot ng kanyang helmet, kaya talaga tinitikitan. Bakit? Kasi the violation of the land transportation law is tantamount to causing an accident. And legislation shall be enacted to regulated drivers and pedestrians. So let's say, for example, we have already the land transportation code. But if in case some aspect sections of that law is now obsolete, then we can move for the amendment of certain sections in that law. Yan. So, pwede natin i-propose sa Congress, and it will be the Congress who will be presenting that to the Senate before it becomes a law, di ba? So, it will be a bill. It will undergo Senate hearing, and it will be, when approved, it will be signed by the President, and after 15 days of its publication, the law is in effect, diba? So, effective. Next is the plan. The public shall be educated in the provisions of traffic and ordinances. Motorists and pedestrians shall be trained in satisfactory movement habits, and compliance with regulation shall be obtained by enforcement. The police shall initiate action and coordinate the efforts of the agencies that are concerned in the activities. So in short, it is related with public safety, uh, education, traffic education, kumbaga. Dapat ma-inform natin yung public. So, the do's and don'ts while driving, di ba? Mga ganyan. So, mga safety tips while traveling, pwede rin natin isama. Vice control. It shall be the determinant of the PNP in the control of vices to treat vice offenses as they shall do to any violation, and exert efforts to eliminate them as their attempt to eliminate robbery, theft, and public disturbance. Control of vice shall be based on the law rather than on moral precepts. The intensive operation shall be directed towards their elimination. A primary interest in the vice control results from the close coordination between vice and criminal activities, and constant raids of known vice dens shall be undertaken. Now, why do we have to control vices, ladies and gentlemen? Ano ba yung mga vices na yan na sinasabi? So, pwede natin isama dyan. Drunkenness, pag-inom ng alak, smoking, di ba? It endangers our lungs. It kills. Okay lang sana kung yung apektado lang naninigarilyo, hindi eh. Mas malaki yung mas critical nga yung effect niya kaysa mas critical yung effect ng smoking sa non-smoker kaysa sa naninigarilyo, di ba? What else? Pwedeng vices din ang white slavery or prostitution. Ano pa? Yung paggamit ng rugby, droga, di ba? Illegal drugs. Why? Because any of these vices, ladies and gentlemen, are indirectly or directly connected with the increasing number of crimes. Tingnan nyo na lang to. Drug user, nawalan ng pera. Drug addict, naubusan ng pera pambili ng addict ay ng drug. Pero addict na siya eh. Kailangan niya bumili. Anong gagawin niya? Magnanakaw yan. Gagawin ng krimen. Mangunghold up para may pambili ng droga. Diba? Gaya nung sinabi ko kanina, drunkenness, nalasing, lumagpas sa kanyang limitasyon. Isa lang ang aking limitasyon. Diba? Isa lang limitasyon niya. Pag sumobra na doon, wala nang limit. Nalasing. Nung nalasing, nag-initiate ng gulo. O, di ba? O physical injuries. O kaya, nung nalasing, nanggahasa o rape. Di ba? May effect siyang kaso. Ano pa? Vice control. Gambling uh, for an instance is also a vice. Pagka may sugal, ladies and gentlemen, it also directly and indirectly results to the increasing number of criminality. Bakit? Pagka natalo yung sugarol, anong ginagawa niyan? Di ba? Gusto niya makabawi. So, paano siya makakabawi? Gagawa rin ng krimen para mabawi niya yung losses niya. So, anong gagawin niya? Mag-hold up, magnakaw, di ba? O kaya magbenta ng droga para makarecover kaagad. Aside from those, what else? So, basta yun, lahat ng mga vices, those are directly or indirectly contributing to the increasing number of crimes. Next is your juvenile delinquency control. So, this is in relation to RA 9344. Effective crime control necessitates preventing the development of individuals as criminals. The police commander shall recognize a need for preventing crime and correcting conditions that induce criminality and by rehabilitating the delinquent. So, delinquent ang tawag natin sa minor de edad na gumawa ng offense. Child in conflict with the law na pala ngayon. CICL. CICL ang tawag natin sa kanila. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in relation to juveniles, as explained by the labeling theory, may effect talaga yung labeling theory. Pagka ang bata ay tinawag yung, ay magnanakaw, bata yan. Nahuli yung nagnakaw, tapos sinawag yung, ay magnanakaw. The more we call that person magnanakaw, it has an effect na talagang lalaki yan na magnanakaw talaga. So, as much possible, don't label juvenile delinquents or CICLs. Huwag yung labelan. Oops, what happened? Okay. So, that's all for our discussion. This was supposed to be our discussion last week. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, hindi talaga ako na-condition din ngayon. Medyo I'm not feeling well. Kaya medyo pasensya na yung boses ko. Medyo nanginginig-ginig at napapaos. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had taken down notes because all of our discussion, di lang naman to, will form part of your midterm exam. Your midterm exam is on the 27, 26, di ba? Fourth week, last week of the month. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you the best. Another link later on will be sent to you in relation to police operations. The police operations, this is supposed to be our topic for this week. Yan. So, medyo na-delay tayo ng isang week. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your hindi ko lang sana lang manood talaga kayo ha. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your participation through your class representatives Active naman silang nagtatanong sa group chat. And hoping for the best. That's all. Thank you. And see you next meeting.